The Bible opens with stories that reveal fundamental truths about human nature and our relationship with God. Today, we're diving into one of the most poignant tales from the book of Genesis. This story marks the first recorded instance of sibling rivalry, jealousy, and even murder. It's the tale of Cain and Abel, found in Genesis chapter 4, verses 1 through 5. So let's explore the dynamics, the emotions, and the lessons that echo through time, right to our modern lives. In the beginning, we are introduced to Adam and Eve's offspring. Genesis 4:1 says, "And Adam knew Eve his wife, and she conceived, and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord." This verse sets the stage for the birth of their first son, Cain, a name that in Hebrew means acquired or possession. Eve's statement, "I have gotten a man from the Lord," underscores her acknowledgement of God's role in their creation, a symbolism of hope and divine blessing. Moving on to the next verse, Genesis 4:2, "And she again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground." Here we see the introduction of Abel, whose name translates to breath or vapor, perhaps foreshadowing the brevity of his life. Abel becomes a shepherd, while Cain becomes a farmer. These vocations reflect the early division of labor that would shape human civilization. Pastoral life versus agrarian life. Both occupations are honorable and necessary. In Genesis 4:3, "And in process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord." This verse introduces the concept of offerings or sacrifices to God, a practice that reveals a deep desire to connect with the divine. Cain, the farmer, brings produce from his harvest. However, we notice no specific mention of the quality or intent behind his offering. Next, let's look at Genesis 4:4. "And Abel he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering." Notice the strong detail here. Abel not only brings an offering from his flock, but he selects the firstborn and the fattest portions. This signifies a sacrifice of the best he has, an act of reverence and devotion. And it's here that we encounter a critical turning point. God favors Abel's offering over Cain's. Why is Abel's sacrifice preferred? The scripture doesn't explicitly say, but many scholars suggest it's about the heart behind the offering. Abel's sacrifice represents a pure and generous heart, given with sincerity and honor. This difference becomes pivotal and shapes the unfolding drama. Genesis 4:5 then states, "But unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell." Imagine the intensity of that moment. Cain experiences outright rejection, not just of his offering, but seemingly of himself. Such an emotional blow could easily stir feelings of jealousy, anger, and inadequacy. Here we observe the raw, unfiltered human reaction to divine interaction. Cain's frustration and fallen countenance signal something universally human, a struggle we all know too well. This brief passage, running from Genesis 4:1 to 4:5, sets the foundational elements of our story. We see concepts of worship, sacrifice, divine interaction, and deeply human emotions of brotherhood and rivalry. Through Cain and Abel, we're invited to reflect on our intentions and how we approach our own offerings to God and to others. Are they given with a sincere heart, bearing the best of ourselves? And now, for a thought-provoking moment, as we ponder Cain's reaction, consider sharing your thoughts in the comments below. Can you recall a time when you felt jealousy or anger over someone else's acceptance or success? How did you handle it? Let's start a conversation that helps us all grow in understanding and empathy. Stay tuned for the next episode, where we will delve deeper into Cain's escalating anger and the dramatic consequences it leads to. This gripping story has only just begun, and there's so much more to unveil. Until next time, keep reflecting and exploring these ancient truths that continue to speak powerfully to our modern hearts.